guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I thought I would share with you my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I love eyeshadow palettes, so I thought I'd share with you guys the ones that I love and use the most. If you're interested in seeing what they are, then just keep on watching. So the first palette that I want to talk about is actually from the drugstore, and this is the Maybelline The Nudes palette, and I'm actually really impressed with this palette. The shade range is pretty good, and you get a nice mix of mattes and shimmers, and the pigmentation is really great, and I've been using this a ton. I picked it up last year, and yeah, I've been wearing it at least once a week ever since. So if you're looking for a really good budget-friendly option to a lot of the popular, more neutral eyeshadow palettes on the market these days, I definitely recommend checking this one out because it's a really great affordable option. The next palette that I want to talk about is the Mercier Extreme Neutrals palette. I really like this one because the shade range is really nice. You get a lot of neutral shades, as the name would suggest, but you get some pops of purple in there too. And I love using beiges and browns for everyday use, but if I'm looking to mix things up, purple is kind of my next go-to, so I really appreciate that there's a few options in there too. There's a good mix of shimmer shades as well as matte shades, and I just feel like the pigmentation is really great, and I don't experience a lot of fallout with the more glittery shades, which is nice. Next, I have the Too Faced Boudoir Eyes palette, and I love the Too Faced palettes that come in the tin like this. They're relatively affordable as far as high-end eyeshadow palettes go. I've got about 4 or 5 in my collection. This one happens to be my favorite though, so I thought I'd mention it in this video. Again, you get a nice mix of mattes and shimmers in this palette, and you don't experience a lot of fallout with the shimmer shades as well, which I really appreciate. And I just really like the more pink and purple tones that you get in this palette. You do get a gray and a black as well, so it's easy to create darker, more smoky looks with this palette, but you can also create more lighter, natural, everyday looks with it. And this is actually the eyeshadow palette that I'm using today. So I've just taken this darker purple shade Voulez-Vous, and I've put that in my crease and my outer corners, and then the shade Sugar Walls just in the middle here I've just kind of put on my lids and in the inner corners, and then I've highlighted my brow bone within the buff, which is just this matte cream shade here. So yeah, I get a ton of use out of this palette. This next palette that I want to talk about is relatively new to my collection. It's from L'Oreal, and it is La Palette Nude. And the shade range in it is just kind of my ideal shade range for everyday eye makeup. It's got a lot of lighter colors in it, a lot of shimmers, and a few matte shades too. So it's kind of a nice mix, and the color payoff is actually really good. You can definitely make some smokier looks with this palette, but it's perfect for everyday use as well. And it's a little bit pricier in terms of drugstore makeup, but it's also not as much as the higher end palettes. So if you're looking for something a bit more affordable, but you want still a really good quality palette, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Next, I've got the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette, and I picked this up kind of right when it came out, and I've been using it a lot lately. I actually bought it for this kind of rust color here, which is called Extra Bitter, which is a bit ridiculous, but the whole palette itself is really good, and I've been getting a lot of use out of it. Of course, you can create a lot of neutral eye looks with this palette, but there are some darker shades and some pops of purple in there too, so you can kind of create some bolder looks with it too. And yeah, the formula is the same great quality that you would expect with Urban Decay. Very buttery, very pigmented, and they just blend really well together. So yeah, I've been getting a ton of use out of this lately as well, and yeah, I just really like it, especially when I'm looking for kind of creating an all matte look. This has been my go-to. Last but not least, I want to talk about the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. This is probably my favorite eyeshadow palette that I own. It's just so nice. I don't even have a favorite shade, I don't think. I love them all. It's really easy to create everyday looks with this, even though it is a smokier palette. But then, of course, it's really ideal if you're wanting to create a smoky eye for a night out, or you just want to wear a bit more makeup. So that completes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite eyeshadow palette is, because I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to leave a link to my blog as well as all of my social media platforms down below in the description bar. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't already, and please subscribe, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!